My motorsport career started very early. I was fortunate. My parents had a car breaker's yard and tyre distribution, and of course it all started in whenever it was, the late 60s, early 70s. We used to get the local rally guys coming in for the rally tyres and various spare parts from different cars and what have you. And of course, these guys would arrive with the Ford Anglias and the Cortinas with the wide wheels, and of course, for a 10-year-old boy, whatever it was, wow, that looks, neat to be having some of this sort of thing. So of course, honed in on them when they'd be coming for a 1500 Cortina engine to put into a Ford Anglia or something like that, and just one of them said, "Look, we're doing a rally tonight. You can come and sit in the back with us if you want." So of course, straight up to the house, "Mum, I'm going on a rally tonight." "No, you're not." I said, "Yeah, I am." It's a 10-year-old sort of thing. I said, no, I am. I'm going in these guys have invited me in the back." "No, you're not." I said, "Yeah, I am." So anyhow, my mum, she let me go in the end. And of course, the first corner we came to, this guy sort of put the car sideways and went round I'd just never witnessed anything. I'd started to drive when I was 8 round the yard, round the breaker's yard, but not sideways. And so of course, that was just it. That was me hooked. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Never ever in my wildest dreams thought you would ever get to where we got in terms of driving and what have you. But so yeah, and then from then on I did anything that I could do from a driving point of view, autocross, driving tests, wherever I could compete until I was old enough to drive. Yeah. And it was family business, and as you rightly say, we had 1.5 days a year off, which was Christmas Day and half of Boxing Day. And the only reason he had half a day was because he used to follow the rugby, so he opened on Boxing Day morning but went to the rugby in the afternoon. And to be honest, I never had a holiday from I was 14 until I went on my honeymoon with Elaine when I was 26. So we literally worked. Okay, don't get me wrong, by then I was obviously rallying, so I was going away rallying, but I never had a holiday. That's my school holiday, and then the next holiday I had was my honeymoon. Because we were in the car braking industry, then to be honest, that's how I started to make my money. I started to buy rally cars and strip them, and that's how I ended up with better parts for my own car, because you'd buy a car and it would always have some relatively new component. So you would then put that onto my car and then sell the piece off my car, so as I could try and keep my cars in as good a mechanical shape as possible. Most nights we worked until 7 o'clock in the business, and then after that was then when I worked on my rally car. And it was only when I set the business up officially in 1979 that then I employed a couple of technicians to build my car for the 1980 season. A lot of people told me at the time that, "Look, Malcolm, you can't run a business and be a top driver." But to be honest, when you're 30 and you come from Cumbria and you think you can take on the world. And to be honest, I just thought, I thought I could do everything, and genuinely, and I had a lot of people telling me, "Look, you've got the ability to go all the way to the top in driving, just stop the business and move to London and get nearer civilization," all this sort of thing. But of course, I was so dogged and said, "No, I'm staying in Cockermouth. I'm staying where I want to live." But to be honest, now that, because of doing the job that I've been doing for the last 20 years and working with all these top guys, then it's very evident to me that, the people that were advising me that, they were not wrong, to be honest. But if you said to me now, would you change your life? I would not swap my life, to be honest, because I've had far more satisfaction out of doing what I've done in the last 20 years than anything I ever did as a driver. Don't get me wrong, I had some great moments as a driver. I never achieved what I probably should have achieved, but I've had far more satisfaction out of building up the business and seeing it evolve and winning events with other drivers and winning championships and creating what was created. So I wouldn't swap it for. I had a very clear vision of what I wanted. You know, the first year, 86, I was just going to go and learn the events, understand the car, look at, you know, and that's how I set off. That was the target for the season. And then sadly, of course, what happened to Henry, and then obviously everybody knew the Group B cars were going to be banned at the end of the year. So to be honest, then that put a lot more pressure on me because it meant that I couldn't do that strategy because I knew I would need to show the speed to stand any chance of getting a drive in 1987. And then, of course, 1987 there only was it Mazda and Lancia competing. I did have the speed, but I had a lot of accidents. So, but I think, you know, I also knew as well how I really felt that I wanted to approach it. And then, of course, you know, you don't get a chance in 87, and then you get a good chance with GM, and then they're going to go four-wheel drive, and then that didn't happen. And then, you know, you get a chance back with Ford again, and you know, sadly, that didn't work. Francois Delacour came and stole the show a bit. So, you know, I've always set myself goals, and I'd always said that I would stop driving when I was 40, whether I'd achieved what I wanted to achieve or not. So whatever I was getting to, 36, 37, when we were doing the pilot sort of stuff then, and of course it just evolved because I was doing all still the chief test driver at the time then, and doing the pilot program. So then, of course, we got a lot of knock-on business from that with the various national sales companies with Ford, Italy, Greece, Middle East. That was obviously a good kickstart to the next phase of my life, should we say.